Ever wondered how you'd survive if you got lost in the wilderness? What critical skills would you need to stay alive? These are questions we often ponder, especially when we venture into the great outdoors. This vast, unpredictable world of ours is filled with scenarios that could challenge our survival instincts. It's not just about enduring the elements, but also about using our wits and resourcefulness. In today's discussion, we'll be exploring 12 essential survival skills. These are the building blocks of survival, the tools you need when faced with the unexpected. We'll talk about ways to find your direction in the wilderness, how to start a fire, sourcing water, mastering first aid techniques, building a shelter, finding food, sending emergency signals, fostering self-sufficiency, maintaining a positive attitude, learning from your surroundings, adapting to changing conditions, and the importance of never giving up. Stay with us as we delve into each of these survival tips. Firstly, you need to know your way around. Navigation is a critical survival skill. When you're out in the wilderness, it's essential to understand how to use the world around you to find your way. Natural landmarks, for instance, can serve as your guideposts, helping you keep track of your direction and distance. The sun, too, is a reliable compass. It rises in the east and sets in the west, and at noon, it's due south in the northern hemisphere and due north in the southern hemisphere. Stars can also guide your way at night. In the northern hemisphere, the North Star or Polaris remains in a fixed position while the other stars rotate around it. And let's not forget about the basic compass skills. They can be your lifesaver when you're lost, and there are no other landmarks in sight. Remember, getting lost can be avoided by always knowing your direction. Next, we talk about one of the most basic survival skills, making fire. When you find yourself in the great outdoors, knowing how to start a fire is invaluable. It can be as simple as using a match or lighter, but what if you don't have those at hand? That's when a magnifying glass can become your best friend. Use it to focus the sun's rays onto your tinder, and voila, you have fire. But remember, the key to a good fire is dry, flammable materials. Look for dry wood, leaves, or grass. Avoid damp or green wood as it won't burn as easily. And always remember to build your fire in a safe and controlled manner. Fire is a powerful tool in survival. It provides warmth, allows you to cook food, and can be used to signal for help. So, never underestimate the importance of mastering this basic survival skill. Fire can provide warmth, cook food, and signal for help, so never underestimate its importance. Water is life, but how do you find it when lost in the wilderness? Well, nature is quite resourceful. Vegetation, for instance, can be a great source of water. Early in the morning you can collect dew from leaves or use a cloth to absorb water from the leaf surfaces. Underground sources are another viable option. Look for damp ground or areas with lush vegetation. Digging a hole could lead you to a water source. But remember, the water may not be clean. Rainfall is a blessing in disguise. Collecting rainwater is one of the safest ways to get clean water. Use any available containers or even broad leaves to catch the rain. Regardless of the source, always ensure the water is clean. Boiling is the most effective method to kill bacteria and parasites. If you can't boil it, consider filtering. This could be as simple as using a cloth to strain out particles. Remember, staying hydrated is essential to survival. Injuries can happen. That's why knowing basic first aid is crucial. Let's delve into some essential techniques that could be a lifesaver in case of injury or sickness. First, there's the ABC rule: airway, breathing, and circulation. Ensure the person's airway is clear. Check if they're breathing and if their heart is beating. If any of these are compromised, immediate action is needed. Next, understanding how to correctly apply a bandage or a tourniquet can stop serious bleeding. Remember, when using a tourniquet, to not tighten it too much and to never leave it on for more than 20 minutes. If someone is in shock, lay them down and elevate their legs if possible. Keep them warm and reassure them help is on the way. Lastly, knowing how to perform CPR could literally be the difference between life and death. Remember, it's 30 compressions to 2 breaths. Knowing first aid can make the difference between life and death. Shelter can protect you from the elements. Let's talk about how to build one. When it comes to survival, creating a shelter should be on top of your priority list. It can safeguard you from harsh weather, wild animals, and can also provide a place for rest. Building a shelter doesn't necessarily mean constructing a cabin in the woods. It can be as simple as finding a natural hollow or overhang that can shield you from rain or snow. If you have a tarp or poncho, you can create a lean-to by simply attaching one edge to a tree and securing the other edge to the ground. If you're in a more wooded area, you can build a debris hut. Start by making a frame with sturdy branches and then layer it with leaves, grass, and other available materials for insulation. Remember, the goal is to keep the shelter small and cozy to retain body heat. A good shelter can provide safety and comfort in a survival situation. Food is energy, but how do you find food in the wilderness? In a survival situation, it's crucial to know how to identify and safely gather wild plants and fruits. Many plants in the wild are edible, but many others are poisonous. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it could save your life. Start by learning about the common wild plants in your region that are safe to eat. Berries are a good place to start, but remember, not all berries are edible. Some are toxic or can cause digestive issues. When it comes to fruits, apples, pears, and peaches, often grow wild and are a great source of nutrition. For those feeling adventurous, you might also consider hunting for your food. This could involve trapping small animals, fishing, or even foraging for insects. But remember, it's all about balance and safety. Knowing what to eat and what to avoid can keep you healthy and energized. Being found is the goal. Let's discuss how to send emergency signals. When you're out there, lost or in trouble, making yourself visible and heard can be your lifeline. Smoke, mirrors, and whistles are three simple yet effective tools for this. Creating a smoke signal is old school, but it works. Build a fire and then smother it with green leaves or moss to produce dense, noticeable smoke. If you're in a sunny region, mirrors can be your best friend. Aiming the reflected sunlight into the sky or towards potential rescuers can catch attention from miles away. Then there's the piercing sound of a whistle, which can travel far, even in dense forests or over the roaring waves of the sea. 3 short blasts is a universal distress signal. So whether it's day or night, clear or foggy, you've got options. Remember, a good signal can lead rescuers straight to you. In the end, survival is about self-sufficiency. It's about developing an array of skills that allow us to meet our basic needs no matter what situation we find ourselves in. Self-sufficiency is not just about knowledge, but about practical application. It's about knowing how to build a shelter, but also being able to do so with limited resources. It's about understanding how to start a fire, but also about being able to do so in adverse weather conditions. It's about recognizing edible plants, but also understanding the best ways to cook and prepare them. It's about knowing how to source and purify water, but also about conserving it when it's scarce. Self-sufficiency also involves mental fortitude. It's about staying calm under pressure, making smart decisions, and being resourceful. It's about adapting to changing circumstances and learning from past experiences. Being able to rely on yourself is a key aspect of survival. So, those are the 12 survival tips that could save your life. From finding your way with the help of nature's compass, to sparking a flame that could ward off the cold, every bit of knowledge counts. Remember, water is life, so knowing how to source it is vital. And never underestimate the power of first aid. It can mean the difference between life and death. Building a shelter can provide you with protection from the elements, while knowledge of food sourcing can keep you nourished and strong. Sending emergency signals can mean the difference between being lost and being found. Self-sufficiency is your best friend when you're alone in the wilderness. But the most important things to keep in mind are these. Stay positive, even in the face of adversity. Learn from your surroundings, they have much to teach. Adapt to changing conditions because flexibility is key. Remember, survival is a battle of wits and will. Never give up, stay positive, learn from your surroundings, and adapt to changing conditions.